What's going on, duelists? It's your boy Nick, bringing you today on the channel the combo tutorial and test hand video for my LIBROMANCER MIKANKO deck profile for post Battles of Legend Monstrous Revenge. For those of you new to the channel, welcome. My name is Nick. We do Yu-Gi-Oh content mainly focused around rogue and casual decks alike. If that's the kind of content that you're interested in, I highly encourage you to smash that subscribe button. I'm working my way to 1,000 subscribers and I'm less than 100 away from hitting that goal, and I need your help to get there. So subscribe if you don't want to miss out on any more really cool content. Like this video, comment down below on what you guys think of the combos and test hands. And I'm going to leave a link in the description below for the profile to this deck, which I uploaded yesterday at time of recording. I encourage you, if you haven't seen the profile, to watch that first before taking a look at this video, just so everyone's on the same page as far as what the deck list looks like. And yeah, with that being said, we're going to jump headfirst into these combos. One thing I'm going to say is a few things. The initial version of this deck that I uploaded a little over a month ago, this is before the June ban list came out, I was running cards like Clock Wyvern and using that to go into the Link Disciple, Link Devotee line. The reason why I went a more Cybers focus, like Link build, is because I wasn't too happy with the two variants of LIBROMANCER MIKANKO that were running around at the time, which was basically a few versions of Archlord Christia, which is like Christia Turbo, which I disliked greatly, and there was like a few Isolde variants utilizing the Mikankos and their ability to, deal with equips. But in my honest opinion, if you're playing like Isolde combos, and shoehorning a bunch of Infernoble cards in the deck to make it work, then you might as well just be playing Infernoble. I personally like the Cybers focus variant of LIBROMANCER MIKANKO simply because LIBROMANCER Fire is a Cybers monster, and there's a lot that you can do with this card because of the fact that he's Cybers. And that's part of the reason why this deck came to be. But one of the things that I disliked about the version 1.0 was the fact that it relied too heavily on the Link Disciple into Link Devotee line. And I disliked it because if you were going second, Link Devotee prevented you from Link summoning Link 3 or higher monsters for the turn. And that was a huge problem because it would prevent you from making things like Access Code Talker and whatnot. It would basically prevent you from OTKing, or it would make it hard to OTK. So those are the problems that I wanted to address. Initially, I wanted to go for a MathMech engine using Circular, but then the ban list hit, and of course Circular gets limited, so there goes that idea. So I went back to the lab, cooked a little bit longer, and I came up with this line. Using Cybers Gadget as the normal summon of choice, and Ringo Worm, the Apple Dragon, as, pseudo extender in some cases. These two cards provide a pretty good, base for this deck, in my opinion. But it's not something that the deck heavily relies on like a crutch. The deck can easily play without either of these two cards. But since the deck does not have a very good normal summon, Cybers Gadget and Ringo Worm combine to make up for that discrepancy. So now that I got that information and intro out the way, we're gonna dive into these combos, guys. So we're gonna start things off with literally just a simple 2-card line, which is just Cybers Gadget and Ringo Worm. What do you do if you have these two cards? I want to focus on these specifically because these are two very cool tech choices that I think not many people understand how they work with the deck. So Cybers Gadget, we're going to go ahead and normal summon. And Cybers Gadget has an effect that states, if it's a normal summon, we can target a level 2 or lower monster in grave, special summon it in defense, but negate its effects. I'm going to be honest, that effect seldom comes up unless you're mid to late game. And even if it does, the only targets you have to revive are a Ringo Worm that's engraved that wasn't already banished for its second effect, or a Magician's Souls. Either way though, if you revive a Souls off Cybers Gadget, Souls will be negated, so you're not really going to be doing anything crazy with it. But most of the time, you're going to be using Cybers Gadget as a starter. So you're going to normal summon the Cybers Gadget, and you're going to immediately link it off for a card that's brand new out of Battles of Legend, Monstrous Revenge. It is Link Decoder. Now this card basically was what we needed in order to break out of the Link Disciple, Link Devotee line. This is a brand new Link 1 that just requires a level 4 or lower Cybers monsters material, and it has a really unique effect where if this card is sent to the graveyard as material for a Cybers Link monster with that had 2300 or more original attack, this card special summons itself out of the graveyard, but banish it when it leaves the field. So it helps you link climb like crazy. So we're going to link off the Cybers Gadget for a copy of Link Decoder. Triggering Cyber's Gadget's graveyard effect, which is when this card is sent to the graveyard, we can special summon a gadget token, which is a Cyber's Light level 2, attack 0, defense 0. Now the reason why we're running Cyber's Gadget and not the Clock Wyvern in this update is because the token that Clock Wyvern produced was a level 1. Also, Clock Wyvern, unlike Cyber's Gadget, Clock Wyvern triggered his token producing effect upon his summon, which I'm not saying that it was going to be negated, but because it's an activated effect on field, if the opponent does have Invaler or Imperm they want to throw at that, they theoretically could stop it. Not that that would happen, but, you know, there was a chance that it could be negated. Whereas at least with the Cyber's Gadget, because it produces a token when it's sent to the graveyard, it's much harder to stop, especially if you're the one going first. So anyway, you're going to produce the token, plus the token that Cyber's Gadget produces is specifically a level 2 token, unlike the token that Clock Wyvern produced, which was a level 1. The reason why the level matters is because Ringo Worm is a level 2 tuner, which now that we do control a non-effect monster, we will special the Ringo Worm from our hand, and then immediately synchro summon using the Ringo Worm, who's a level 2 tuner, and the token, who's a level 2 non-tuner, to make a copy of Herald of the Arclight, something that the previous deck couldn't actually do because, you know, the levels never added up correctly. So now we actually have an Omni Negate on board in the form of Herald, but because we went ahead and synchro summon this turn, we can use Ringo Worm's graveyard effect, banishing itself from grave, to go ahead and produce another token, a worm, level 2, attack 100, defense 100, I believe, and that token can be treated as a tuner for a synchro summon, which is pretty cool. Now, assuming we are going second, we do have a card we can make, which is Cloud Beast Malong. It's a TCG exclusive synchro out of Cyberstorm Access. This card, if we're going second, is pretty nice because when it's sent to the graveyard, we get to target a face-up card the opponent controls and return it to their hand. So it's basically helps us break boards, which is nice. But if we're not going second, I mean, I guess it depends on the board state, because we could also make it if we are going first. The only problem is that even though Cloud Beast Malong is a tuner synchro, we're not synchro climbing in this deck. So like, you know, it's got an effect that modulates its level upon summon. And while that might be cool if we were playing a more synchro-focused strategy, all that we use that level modulating for is to chain block the search for Herald, assuming we were synchroing these off. You know, we would make them along, chainlink 1 Herald Engrave, chainlink 2 Malong to level modulate. That way, if the opponent does have an Ash, they cannot stop us from searching a ritual monster off of Herald, which is pretty cool. But assuming we're not going into the synchro, we can also link summon into a copy of Security Dragon, which unironically also has an effect that while it's co-link can bounce a monster the opponent controls. So even if we were going second, you know, we have 2 lines that can help us bounce stuff, which is nice to help just break the board. Herald guarantees us a search, you know, let's just say for Ohime, for example. And then now, if you notice, we have Security Dragon and Link Decoder. Both are Cyberse links with different attributes. Security being a Link 2, Link Decoder being a Link 1. So now we can link these off and actually go ahead and make a copy of Deco Talker Heat Soul. Again, something that we could never do on our first turn with the old build because of the restriction on Link Devotee. Now, since we linked off the Decoder for a Cyberse link with 2300 or more original attack, Decoder actually triggers the graveyard effect to revive itself back to our side of the field. And then, of course, we can go ahead and activate Heat Soul to get a free draw, which would just be a blank. And literally off of just a single Cyberse Gadget and 1 Ringo Worm, we're able to establish a search for a ritual plus a free draw, which, you know, could be anything. Obviously, it's just a draw, so we don't know what it is. And then at that point, we could just link the Heat Soul and the Decoder away for an access code. Again, assuming we're going second and just want to push for game. Or if we're going first, we could link them off for a 2-material Appaloosa. And mind you, we're not even into our Libromancer line yet, which theoretically would be live, assuming we had them in hand, because we searched the ritual off of a Herald. So that's what Cyberse Gadget is able to do for this deck in tandem with the Ringo Worm. So I just wanted to showcase that for you guys, so you guys could hopefully have a better grasp on why I'm playing these cards and why I'm no longer running Clock Wyvern specifically. It's mainly just because of the token it produced wasn't the correct level that I needed to be able to make Herald. And And like I said, the that line is hard to stop because everything that you were doing was either a grave effect or a hand effect, meaning like you don't lose to stuff like Imperm or Valor, which is really nice. So that was the first combo. Now I'm going to show you one other combo utilizing Ohime, one-time passcode, and a fire. Fire can also be substituted for a Geek Boy. Either way, it leads you to the same line. So this would be a 3-card combo. We'll actually go ahead and lead things off by activating the one-time passcode to go ahead and produce a security token. Sorry. Activate one-time passcode, produce a security token off of its effect. Send that to the graveyard. Now what we can do is we can reveal Ohime in hand to go ahead and special fire. Fire effect will let us search for a copy of Libromancer Geek Boy. And then at this point, we can go ahead and link both the fire and the security token off for a copy of Cyber's Witch. Cyber's Witch is very, very powerful in this deck. Then we can reveal Ohime, special link Geek Boy. Then we can activate Cyber Switch as Chainlink 1, and then Geek Boy is Chainlink 2. We'll go Cyber Switch cost, banishing a spell engrave. And then Geek Boy will basically chain block the Cyber Switch, which is pretty cool. And then Geek Boy lets us search for a Libromancer spell, which we will go ahead and grab a copy of Origin Story. And then Cyber Switch allows us to grab Cyanite Ritual and a Cyber Ritual monster, which is very cool. So this is pretty much what our hand would look like now. Then, because we use Cyber Switch's first effect, we can use her secondary effect, which can only be done if her first effect activated, which is we can special summon a level 4 or lower Cyber monster from our graveyard back to our side of the field. So now we can get our Libromancer Fire back to our board, and now we can actually use the Fire and the Witch, who are Cyber monsters with different attributes, and go ahead and make Heat Soul again, which is pretty crazy. And then Heat Soul effect, pay 1,000, get a draw. So we just get a free draw for that for basically no investment. Then we can go activate Origin Story. Sorry, this is my hand. So we'll activate Origin Story in the spell trap zone, letting us set a Libromancer spell trap from our deck to our field. We'll set a copy of the field spell, which we will go ahead and activate. And then the field spell, we will go ahead and search for... let's take a look. Again, this is just a draw off Heat Soul. It's a blank, since this is just a combo, not an actual test hand. I think we'll go ahead and grab a copy of Doombroker off of that. So we'll go ahead and grab a Doombroker. And then this is pretty much what our hand looks like at the moment. We can go Cyanite Ritual, activate to tribute our Geek Boy for a copy of Sage. We can then go Sage effect to fuse by banishing both the Fire and the Witch out of the graveyard to go ahead and make a copy of the Cyber's to Save Worm. Then we can go ahead and synchro into a Quantum Dragon, for example. Now that Quantum's on board, the opponent cannot target any monsters we control, card effects except Quantum. Also, they cannot battle anything except the Quantum. We'll go the graveyard effect of Sage. We'll take the Cyanite Ritual and add it to our hand. Again, this is just a blank draw off the Heat Soul. Looking at our hand now, we can go Ohime effect in hand, revealing herself with her own effect, searching for a Mikanko card from deck to hand, and then discarding a card. We'll go Great Mikanko Ceremony to hand. We'll pitch the Cyanite Ritual. We can activate Ceremony, specialing the Ohime from hand, ignoring summoning conditions. Graveyard effect of Ceremony to go ahead and Foolish Burial a Mikanko card. We'll send the Arabesque. Ohime effect, equipping the Arabesque to herself. Then we'll go Arabesque effect, letting us special summon a Mikanko from our deck or hand with a different name from the equipped monster. So we can go ahead and special summon... Don't tell me, is this Nini? No, it's not. Okay. Here we go. We'll special summon out a Nini, the Mirror Mikanko, bouncing the Ohime back to our hand. Nini's now equipped with Arabesque. Again, this is still the blank draw off of Heat Soul. Then we can go first appearance effect, tributing Ohime from hand to ritual summon Doombroker. Then we can go Doombroker effect to set a Libromancer trap, which could be the intervention, which is their Omni Negate plus follow up, which is nice. And again, we'd have a blank draw here. We could pass turn, and that would be our 3-card combo. We have the Omni Negate off intervention plus recovery. The opponent cannot target anything with card effects because of Quantum. They also cannot attack anything but the Quantum. And then Quantum, when he's battled into, at the start of damage step, he returns the monster he's battling to the hand. On the opponent's turn, we'd get another draw off of the Heat Soul by paying 1,000. So we'd have 2 free draws off Heat Soul, 1 on our turn, 1 on the opponent's. And then with the Nini, because she's equipped, she is a Snatch Steal. So we could steal an opponent's monster until the end of the turn because of the Nini. And that was just a 3-card. What did that start with? We got 2 free draws off of that. This board you see here, a steal, an Omni Negate, and all we started with was literally an Ohime, a fire, and a 1-time passcode. So that was a 3-card line, and this is what the board we had. Now mind you, that's just a 3-card line. If assuming this was an actual test hand, we'd have 5 cards in our hand. So you can kind of see how this deck actually gets pretty explosive. And mind you, this is a pretty tough board to crack with, without like kaijus, or, specifically because, we don't lose to Dark Ruler, we don't lose to Evenly because of the intervention, which is an Omni Negate, which is very nice. And like I said, then, we still plus off the Heat Soul if they don't out the Heat Soul, which they probably won't be able to because they can't battle into it. They have to attack the Quantum, and they can't even target Heat Soul with anything either, so they can't impermanent, they can't like chalice it, which is like just insane. And then yeah, so that would be the second test hand. Now that we got the test hands out the way, let's jump into I'm sorry, second combo, excuse me. Now that we got the combos out of the way and you guys kind of have a better idea of how this deck is supposed to play, let's jump into our first test hand officially. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the content here. Like I said, I'm working my way to 1,000 subs. I need your help to get there. So if you're watching this and you're this far into the video and you're still not subscribed to my channel, what are you doing? Subscribe. Like, clearly this kind of content you like if you're still watching. So you don't want to miss out on anything else that I upload. Subscribe, like the video, comment down below on what you guys think. I do this for you guys. You guys are the motivation to keep me going. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is something that I'm really passionate about, but, it's not something that I would do necessarily if it wasn't for you guys showing me all the love and support that you continue to do daily. So thank you all for that. And now we are getting into our first official test hand. Pile shuffle for you guys live on camera so you can see that I'm not like stacking the deck or, trying to cheat and give myself, better than usual hands. So we shuffled a few times. I'm even going to cut. And we're going to pretend that this is a going first hand. So we're going to draw 5 cards, 1-time passcode, intervention, Cyber Sage, Hare the Sword Mikanko, and a Signet Mining. Interesting opening hand we have here. So let's go ahead and activate Signet Mining. We are going to pitch the Hare, the Sword Mikanko, for cost on that. And we are going to grab a Libromancer Fire to our hand. Mining goes to grave. We are then going to activate, reveal Cyber Sage to go ahead and special out our copy of Fire. Fire effect triggers, letting us search for a Libromancer monster, which will be the Geek Boy. We will then reveal Cyber Sage, special summon Geek Boy effect to search for a spell, which will be the Origin Story. We will go ahead and activate Origin Story, which will allow us to set a Libromancer spell or trap directly from our deck. So we'll go ahead and set first appearance, then obviously activate it, letting us search for another Libromancer monster. guess we'll grab a copy of Doombroker. Then, let's see, how do we want to play this? I guess... this is pretty interesting. There's a couple of things we can do here. Sorry, I'm just trying to think out loud, guys. Give me 1 second. Alright, so, how do I want to do this? Let's go ahead and activate one-time passcode. This will produce a security token to our side of the field. It's a level 4 Cybers. And I guess this is interesting. Here, I guess we're gonna activate the first appearance, tributing both the fire. Do we want to do that? This is tough, actually. No, you know what? Here, I'm sorry. How do I want to go about this? Yeah, we're gonna tribute both Fire and Geek Boy, using first appearance to ritual summon out Doombroker. Doombroker effect is set. We'll set Displaced. And then because we hard opened Intervention, we'll set Intervention as well. And then I guess if we really want to, we can just link off that token and turn it into a Lingeribo. That way we don't get cooked by things like Imperm or evenly, you know, end of battle phase type stuff. Not that it mattered because we had Intervention anyway, but now we can potentially use Intervention on something that, you know, isn't Imperm or evenly specifically. And that's the first official test hand. Again, not the greatest end board, but honestly, we have a Trap Negate, an Omni Negate, plus a special summon from hand or grave, which would be Fire, and then Fire gets us another search for follow-up. And we also have a Snatch Steal for the opponent's turn through Display. So it's actually quite a bit of disruption. It's 1, 2, 3 disruptions minimum plus follow-up. Which I think is pretty good, you know, given the caliber of deck we're running. It's not like LIBROMANCER MIKANKO is a, you know, tier 1 meta threat or anything like that. But we're going to go ahead and do another test hand for you guys. That was a pretty, like I said, not a terrible opening, but not the best that this deck can produce, obviously. So we're going to go ahead and pile shuffle again. That way you guys can see that, you know, I'm not over here trying to give myself the best possible hands. And that's one of the things that I honestly enjoy about my channel. I think, you know, I give you the most real and raw experience. You know, like if you built this deck yourself and took it to locals, I want you guys to see what it's actually like to play this deck and the types of hands that you would actually have. You know, I'm not trying to like gaslight any of my content and make you think that, you know, it's some crazy tier 0 game-breaking threat. It's just, if you like fun decks, this is the channel for you wholeheartedly, and you should subscribe. Because all I do is really unique content based around Yu-Gi-Oh! So, drawing another 5-card hand, Agent, Signet Mining, Cyber's Gadget, and a Magician Souls. Again, assuming we are going first, this is our 5-card opener. How do we want to do this? I guess what we can do, we'll activate Mining, pitching the other Mining, obviously, and we will search out, this is going to be interesting, grab a Libromancer Fire here. Okay, gonna normal summon the Cyber's Gadget, link it off for a copy of Link Decoder. Activate Gadget's effect engraved. Since it was sent from the field to the graveyard, it will produce a Gadget token, who's a level 2 Cyber monster. Then, as crazy as this sounds, we're going to go ahead and link both the token and the decoder away for our copy of Cyber's Witch. We will then go Magician Souls in hand, sending for cost a level 6 or higher spellcaster, special summoning the souls to the zone Witch points to specifically, which will then trigger the Witch, allowing us to banish a spell from grave, to then add not only Cyanite Ritual, but a Cyber's Ritual monster from the deck to our hand. Grabbing Cyanite Ritual and Cyber's Sage. Now that we have a ritual in our hand, we can reveal said ritual, special summon Libromancer Fire, fire effect to go search for a Libro monster, which will be Geek Boy, and we're pretty much going to be off to the races here, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to link off. Here, how do I want to do this? You know what? Here, before we link anything off, let's go reveal Sage, special Geek Boy. Geek Boy effect. We'll grab Origin Story, activate Origin Story to go ahead and set a Libromancer spell trap from deck, which will be first appearance. We'll set it, but then we'll activate it, letting us search for our Doombroker, which is the only missing piece of our Libro engine. There's our Doombroker. Now we're getting into some interesting territory here. What we can do now is we'll go Souls Effect, sending Origin Story, and we'll actually send the Cyanite Ritual as well. We'll attempt to draw 2 cards off Souls. Drew Reflection Rondo and a Cyber's Gadget. That's fine. We will then take the Souls and the Fire. We'll link them for a Masquerena. Cyber Switch secondary effects to take a Cyber's Engrave and special summon it. I guess we'll just grab back the Fire. Then we'll go Witch and Fire. We'll link them off for a Link 3 into our copy of Heat Soul. Heat Soul effect, pay 1,000, draw a card. Drew into a Preparation of Rites. Man, are we blessed. We will, this is our hand, by the way. It's getting pretty insane. We'll activate Prep, searching out a Ritual, which will most likely be Ohime, since it's the only card we didn't grab. And then we'll go Prep second effect, well, not second effect, but as part of its full resolution, we'll take a Ritual spell from our grave and add it to our hand. So now our hand is starting to look nice. We'll go Cyanite Ritual, tributing the Geek Boy to go ahead and summon out the Sage. Sage effect to fusion summon by banishing the material listed on it from our field or graveyard. We'll banish the Witch. And we will banish Cyber's Gadget. That will let us fuse into a Cyber's Deceive Worm, a fusion monster fresh out of Cyberstorm Access. We will Synchro using Sage, because she is a tuner, crazily enough, and the Deceive Worm, who's a level 6, for our copy of Cyber's Quantum Dragon. Now, none of our monsters can be targeted by card effects, nor can the opponent attack anything except the Quantum, because we do control links. Cyber Sage's Graveyard effect. If she's sent to the graveyard as synchro material, we can take a ritual spell or a Cyber's monster engrave and add it to hand. We'll take our Link Decoder that's in our graveyard. We'll go ahead and put that back in our extra deck for follow-up. We're not even done yet, ladies and gentlemen. We are still comboing. So we're going to reveal Doombroker, Special Agent. We'll go Agent Effect to target a Libromancer card in our graveyard, add it to our hand. grab fire, add fire to hand off of the Doombroker effect. Or, I'm sorry, off the agent effect, excuse me. We will then go activate Ohime in hand to add a Mikanko card from the deck to our hand, and then we'll discard a card. We'll add Great Ceremony to our hand, and then we will pitch Reflection Rondo to the graveyard. We will then activate the ceremony, special summoning the Ohime from hand. We'll go Graveyard Effect the ceremony, banishing it to then Foolish a Mikanko card. Which will be the Water Arabesque. Ohime effect, equipping the Arabesque to the agent. Arabesque effect to special summon a Mikanko from deck with a different name than the Equip Master. So we'll go Nini the Mirror Mikanko here, bouncing the agent to our hand, at which case we will then go effective first appearance, tributing the fire from our hand and the Cyberus Gadget from our hand. We'll special the Doombroker, and then we'll go Doombroker effect to set a Libromancer trap, which could be Intervention. And then we still have Agent in hand for follow-up. And this is our end board, ladies and gents. So let me explain what's going on here, because this is a pretty impressive end board. So we have Deco Talker, which will net us another draw on the opponent's turn. Drew into a Hare. We have IP to Quick Link, Doombroker with the Intervention, which is an Omni Negate, so we don't die to cards like Evenly or Dark Ruler, which is insane. And this gives us recovery because it lets us special Libro from our graveyard. Cyber's Quantum Dragon, while we control Link monsters, the opponent cannot target anything on our field with card effects, and they cannot attack anything except the Quantum. Also, at the start of damage step, if Quantum battles, anything he battles gets returned to the hand. Absolutely insane. We have Ohime on our field with Rondo in the graveyard. So keep in mind, we can quick link using IP on the opponent's turn into some pretty gnarly stuff, because, you know, if we go Intervention, Doombroker goes back to our hand, we'll special fire, fire gets us a search, and then we can go IP, Heat Soul plus fire to make like a Firewall Dragon Singularity, for example. We have the Deceive Worm engrave, so when we do make them Link 6, it's another spell trap negate. At that point, we would have opened up space on our field, so then we can go Ohime, equipping Rondo to an opponent's card to then steal it, and then we have Nini, who's also equipped with Arabesque, to also steal another opponent's card. So if you do all that math, that's 1, 2, 3. Once we link into the Singularity, for example, or Appaloosa, whatever we want, honestly, the world's our oyster. We have another negate, so that's 4. Plus, you know, if we link in a Singularity, it bounces like 3 cards. So that's like 5, 6, 7 disruptions. 2 of which are like Snatch Deals, which is pretty insane. So, sorry that this video was a bit long, but I just wanted to show you guys the updated combos and test hands for Libromancer Mikanko post Battles of Legend. Like the video, subscribe if you're not already so you don't miss out on more content. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Link in the description below for the deck profile. And if you guys want to see this deck in some live duel action, then get this video to, let's say 25 likes. We'll be a bit conservative. 25 likes and I'll bring you guys a live duel showcasing what Libro Mikanko can do in action. With that being said, this is Nick, signing out.